Our next story is about China. It's a well-known fact that the Xi Jinping regime is trying to rewrite history to justify his rule. But with each passing day, the communist regime's propaganda efforts are becoming more daring and more bold. Sample this. Last week, China's top security official visited Tibet, where he instructed the local authorities to intensify the crackdown against separatists. Chen Wenqing, the head of the Central Political and Legal Affairs Commission, which is the Communist Party's top security body, visited the Tibet Autonomous Region. He also ordered security personnel to carry out more propaganda and more education campaigns. What's the goal? To increase awareness of national identity, quote-unquote, beyond Tibet. There are 10 Tibetan autonomous prefectures across Yunnan, Sichuan, Gansu, and Qinghai. In recent years, China has cast the Tibetan security net wider in order to include more surrounding regions with large Tibetan populations. And what's more, China's top judges and prosecutors have also made their rounds of Tibet. Zhang Jun, president of the Supreme People's Court, also visited Tibetan courts last week. He said it was necessary to hand down tough punishment to keep up the pressure on violent terrorism and ethnic separatism, quote-unquote. You see, Chinese authorities have rolled out new propaganda efforts aimed at countering Western narratives about the human rights situation in Tibet. The visit by the Chinese official comes as America increases support for the region. Recently, the US has passed a new law, remember, urging China to engage in talks with the Dalai Lama, Tibet's exiled spiritual leader. Last month, the Dalai Lama met with senior US officials amid concerns about the Dalai Lama's health. Is a looming succession battle between Tibetans in exile and China. China, which controls Tibet, has called the Dalai Lama a separatist who is seeking Tibet's independence from China. China, in fact, has also tried to erase the Tibetan language and culture through compulsory Chinese language education for Tibetan children. The communist regime has forced hundreds of thousands of rural Tibetans to relocate to urban areas, and it has replaced the name Tibet with the Romanized Chinese name, Xizang, in official documents. This is how it cracks down on so-called separatists by stripping them of their identity, by labeling them terrorists and criminals, by suppressing them, just to put it simply. But while we talk about Tibet, don't forget China's crackdown on Hong Kong. On Monday, a man in Hong Kong pleaded guilty to sedition. He wore a T-shirt with the slogan, quoting, "Liberate Hong Kong, revolution of our times." He has become the first person convicted under Hong Kong's contentious new national security law that was passed in March. 27-year-old Chu Kai-pong pleaded guilty to one count of doing with a seditious intention an act, quote-unquote. You see, under the new security law, the maximum sentence for the offense is 7 years in prison. It could even go up to 10 years if collusion with foreign forces was found involved. Chu was arrested on the 12th of June at an MTR station. He was wearing the shirt with the protest slogan, along with a yellow mask printed with the shorthand of another slogan, 5 demands, not one less. Both slogans were frequently chanted in the massive pro-democracy protests that broke out in 2019. And the 12th of June was a key kick-off day of the months-long unrest. Chu told the police that he wore the T-shirt to remind the people of the protests. Remember, Hong Kong was returned from Britain to China in 1997 under China's promise that its freedoms, including freedom of speech, would be protected under a one country, two systems formula. But Beijing has broken the promise. A national security law was imposed in 2020, remember, punishing secession, subversion, terrorism or collusion with foreign forces. In March this year, a second new security law was passed, a homegrown ordinance also known as Article 23. critics, including the US government, have expressed concerns over the new security law, saying that the vaguely defined provisions regarding sedition could be used to curb dissent, and that is what has happened today. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.